So we all feel pretty bad about what's going on with Trump and what Trump's doing to this country, but Democratic voters don't feel great about their own party. Wow, what a bleak scenario. So this is an interesting article from the Associated Press. A new poll conducted earlier this month by the AP found that only about 1/3 of Democrats are very optimistic or even somewhat optimistic about their party's future. That's down sharply from July 2024, when about 6 in 10 Democrats said they had a positive outlook. Yeah, July 2024, when we replaced Biden with Harris, and it was like, okay, we have a presidential nominee who can speak more clearly. And yeah, she's actually going to be able to mount a more serious challenge to Trump, and she still lost. So, quote, "I'm not real high on Democrats right now," said poll respondent Damian Williams, 48-year-old Democrat from Cahokia Heights, Illinois. "To me, they're not doing enough to push back against Trump. Therein lies the problem. Therein lies the problem. They're not doing enough to push back against Trump." Holy cow. I mean, you got some people who are out giving tours, Bernie Sanders, AOC, Tim Walz, where it's like they're trying to connect to voters. They're trying to really get at what they want, and not just say, oh, you should vote blue, you should vote blue, you should vote blue, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. They're saying, hey, look, what do you want from us? We'll tell you what we want to campaign on, what we want to oppose from the Trump administration, laying out policy specifics, talking about ways in which the Trump administration is harming people and how he's helping promote oligarchy within the US. But they're about, communicating with people, with voters. And so that's pretty good. But yeah, are they really pushing back against Trump enough? Are a majority of them really doing that? Not necessarily. There have been some good call outs. Think about Cory Booker's filibuster. He went on for 25 hours. But are they really doing enough to push back against Trump? The voters are saying no. The poll comes at a critical moment for the Democratic Party, which is desperately seeking momentum after losing the White House and both chambers of Congress in last fall's general election. In the survey, Democrats offer mixed reviews for some of their party's best known elected officials, including Chuck Schumer and AOC, both of New York, while reporting significant concerns about how leaders are chosen in the U.S. political system. Williams, a member of the Teamsters Union, said he likely won't feel good about his party again until somebody steps up in terms of being a leader that can bring positive change, an Obama-like figure. Well, it's interesting because Obama, obviously, in the context of the 2008 election, was a transformative guy. He really rallied people behind him, and in such a way that he, threw out Hillary Clinton. Everyone thought it was Hillary Clinton's turn to be president, her turn to be the Democratic nominee, and he said, "No, get out of here, Hillary. I'm running the show now." And yeah, he was less well known than Hillary Clinton, but he offered up his vision. He was a leader who stepped in there, and for that reason, he won the primary. So yeah, he was a revolutionary leader in that sense. Although in terms of implementing drastic economic change, I don't know that we could really call him some revolutionary leader or some guy who was like super, super innovative within the Democratic Party. He was to the left of Bill Clinton, but on economics, certainly to the right of both Lyndon Johnson and FDR. So Republicans, meanwhile, are slightly more optimistic about the future of the GOP than they were last year. You don't say they have Trump in office right now and they don't have Biden in office. And yeah, okay, so they feel like, oh yeah, the Republicans got things under control. The poll finds that about half of Republicans, 55%, are somewhat or very optimistic about their party's future, up from 47% last summer. Still, only about 3 in 10 Republicans are optimistic about the state of U.S. politics, up from about 1 in 10 last summer. Patrick Reynolds, 50-year-old Republican community activist and pastor from Fort Worth, Texas, says he has conflicting feelings about Trump's leadership and the future of his party. He worries too many Republicans in Congress are falling in line behind the president and his chief ally and advisor, Elon Musk, who has led Trump's push to slash the size of the federal government. Reynolds also says he's concerned that Trump's aggressive moves to combat illegal immigration may be violating the Constitution. Quote, "How can we be the party of the rule of the law when we're violating constitutional principles?" he said. "I think there could be a political backlash." You don't say, okay, this is a guy who is not too far gone, clearly. Look, we can speak to some Trump voters. This guy is actually thinking about the right things. He's not just saying, yeah, okay, stick it to these illegals. Yeah, whatever. We have to do whatever it takes to get them out of this country. Screw them. Due process is irrelevant. You just got to kick out illegals, bro. Yeah, go Tom Homan. This guy is thinking about the right things. He's hitting the right notes in his concerns. So I applaud him for that. I also applaud people who are willing to criticize the Democratic Party and who want it to be better because, yeah, we need a smarter Democratic Party and we need a Republican Party which is less stupid, which is less harmful, and they need to be brought back into reality. So these types of Republicans, like the guy mentioned in this article, they're making the right points. Their concerns are valid. Trump's never going to listen to them. He's very stubborn. He's very self-righteous. Elon Musk is never going to listen to him. They basically need to listen to the voters when the voters vote them out and elect Democrats in. But Democrats can't be elected in if Democrats don't get their ducks in a lane. And so that's what the other voter was talking about. Like, okay, stand up to Trump, have a coherent message, have a resounding and a strong leader, an Obama-like figure, someone who just really owns the moment, someone who comes in with a ton of momentum, maybe even comes in out of nowhere, maybe someone who we don't even know their name right now, someone young probably, someone just storms in, takes the country by storm, advances a political message, unifies the Democratic base, and explains all of the errors in the Trump administration and all of the ways in which we can course correct. That would be what the Democrats need, but they don't have that right now. And as a result, Democratic voters are feeling horrible about their party, and Republicans are feeling slightly better, but at least some of them are concerned about the way that things are going with Trump. I will give them that. So all hope is not lost for converting Trump voters and Republicans, and all hope is not lost for seeing a better Democratic Party someday in the future. But as it stands, it doesn't look like anyone's necessarily in love with their party. Democrats are just feeling worse because of the whooping that they took in the 2024 election. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, or subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. This has been The More the Merrier, and I look forward to speaking to you in my next video.